Happy July 4th, and it's time to remember and to consider that on this day, uh, 250 years ago, the Declaration of Independence from the United States from Great Britain was signed and declared. And it's certainly important to understand what that document said. And I suggest if you have the opportunity to sit back and Google it and read the entire thing. It's not that long. I say thing, the document. It's one of our founding documents and one of the most important ones in this country's history. But it's important, particularly important to remember that the gentlemen who signed that document uh, pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to uh, support human equality. And they start with the inalienable right that all men are created equal. It takes us time to make that dream a reality. But over the last 250 years, we've worked hard to do it with respect to creating opportunities for women, for minorities, for people that we who don't look like us, for transgender people, for gay people, for people who don't necessarily talk, walk, or look like us. And that's important because this was part of the founding of this country. But when you look at that document, let's point out a couple things that were particularly grating to the men who signed that document. Uh, uh, Part of it was that the king was making judges dependent upon his will. Does that have a ring to it? Does that look like the Supreme Court and some of the other judges and lawyers that Bondi and Trump are trying to subject to their will? They were sending officers to live among the people of this country, just like Trump has sent Marines into California. And I think I read this morning that he's sending 200 Marines into the state of Florida. This was unacceptable. It was unacceptable that he was having the military take a more important place, a more directive place around this country than the civil authorities. That was grating to people. It was considered wrong that he was cutting this country off from trade, just like Trump is cutting this country off from trade by his tariff policies that are affecting each and every one of us, but affecting the people in any number of the states, perhaps some of the states more than others, because it's affecting their employment and employability prospects. They One of the objections was they were taking American citizens and immigrants who had come to this country and subjecting them to trials and hearings of matters affecting them relating to their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness in countries beyond the borders of the United States, just like Trump is doing with respect to sending members of our communities to lands where they've never been. The list goes on. But the important part and the important part is, we have those freedoms. We need to fight for those freedoms, and we need to remind the rest of the country that those freedoms are all of our freedoms, and if you lose it for one, you lose it for all. I say this in the hopes that you have a strong remembrance of why we are celebrating July the 4th and what it means for you, me, and the rest of the country.